Hi guys, what's up? It's me, Sam33 here, and welcome to another not-so-exciting episode of Mix-Up. And I was going to talk about the results from Battle Roads this week, but apparently Battle Roads aren't over yet. There is none in the two areas that I get email notifications about, and none of my friends were talking about going to any, so I had no clue that they were not over. But apparently there is one more week of Battle Roads, so next week I will be talking about the results from Battle Roads. But this week, I'm going to do what every lazy Pokemon show person does when they don't really want to think of an episode idea, and just do a report on all their Battle Roads. So I have gone to 6 events these past few weekends, and of course I have none more to go to. So yeah, definitely had a fun time at these. There are some very interesting moments, some enraging moments, some victorious moments, and some very average moments. Average, because that's like my thing. How I'm average, it's not even a joke. It's not even a joke. What is wrong with you? Anyway, report, let's do it. So my choice of deck for Battle Roads for all 6 that I went to was Rayquaza / Eelektrik. I didn't really have any cards to build a Ho-Oh deck, which I was hoping to use a couple times, but didn't get the chance to, or anything with Darkrai in it. And the Empoleon deck I've been working on, I actually gave it to my mom to play in some tournaments, so yeah. My mom plays in tournaments. Of course, I changed around my list quite a lot in all of the different events, so I'm just going to give you a basic gist of what I usually had in my list. I always had a combination of Rayquaza EX, Raikou EX, and Thundurus in my list, and either Registeel EX or Mewtwo EX, but I never ran any DCE. And all of them were actually pretty helpful, and none of them I think were just like awful choices that you shouldn't use at all. But Registeel seemed to be the weakest link, but no, again, not by much. I always had 4 switch in the deck just because, like, say you have a Raikou or Rayquaza and you just keep switching and then Dynamotor to them, then retreat again. It's very, very powerful doing that. But basically, if you have just one out, switch is basically free Dragon Burst. Might as well be. I had Tool Scrapper for a lot of the events, but I usually took it out on the Sunday events because it didn't help me very much on the Saturday events, and then having it where I actually didn't need it on Sunday. My luck, of course. I started using Max Potion the last couple weekends, and it was actually pretty powerful. It was kind of a dead card in some matchup, but it was definitely a very good card. And if you had more space, it'd definitely be worth using. I had Bianca at the beginning of the tournament, but then I started to kind of hate it more and more, until I actually switched to Cheren. I mean, sure, Cheren can't get your 0-card hand to 6, but with Bianca, you have to play down your hand and usually dump a whole bunch of resources just to get a decent new hand. So say if you want to use like a switch or catcher and then you whiff on the one card you needed, and then you would have been better off not using either of those, you're kind of screwed. But with Cheren, you could use it and then decide on what to do. So you don't have to risk not getting the card you need. You either get it or you don't. So what if you don't really get 1 or 2 less cards? Having the decision after doing that is actually probably well worth it. I had 8 Lightning Energy and 5 Fire Energy at the beginning. But after somehow only drawing a Fire Energy for 99% of my games, somehow, I swapped a Fire for a Lightning, and then it seemed to work fine. So now we take a look at my basic list. We'll get to the report on some of the events. I'll only report some of the more interesting matches and tournaments just because there were some that were kind of boring, so let's get straight to it. This is the one tournament I'm actually going to do a full report on, which is Wilmington, Delaware, which is definitely a interesting tournament. It's at my usual league, so yay. Probably going to see a bunch of my friends there, which I did. It was definitely one of the funnest events. It had about 10 or so seniors with 4 rounds, which is above average for Wilmington and seniors, actually. So here come the pairings, and round 1 I'm paired against Eli with Emboar Rayquaza. If you know me, you know I hate this kid a lot. He always gets the most ridiculous hands whenever we play, and I always get the worst. And it just so happens to be against the person I hate on this earth the most. Speaking of which, I do get a Thundurus start, but I can only draw Fire Energies for 99% of the game, so I have to just keep charging. I catch your Tepig, needing to draw Lightning Energy to KO it, but I whiff, and then he retreats it, and I catch it again. Whiff the Lightning again. And yet again, I catch the Tepig and whiff the Lightning again. And when I finally do get a lightning energy, he actually rare candies it into a freaking Emboar. And after my Thundurus gets KO'd, I finally have some energy to Dynamotor for the game. I kill some EXs, usually Rayquazas with my own, and then get to price to 2-2, and time gets called, but my Rayquaza takes 120 damage from his own Rayquaza after weakness. I have a Juniper, and I can use it to get a switch, which is one in my 10-card deck, and I whip it. Of course, instead I draw the 6 lightning energy I couldn't draw earlier. Ugh. I get a KO, and I finally get it to 2-1 prizes my lead. It's his turn 3. He sends up a Mewtwo with 1 energy. If he draws an energy, he wins. Top decks and energy. Ugh. This kid needs to go die in a fiery pit of his own Emboar's flames. He's the kid who always interrupts at my battle videos, if you couldn't guess. And it gets better. He goes 2-2 and ruins my resistance. Let's just move on. Round 2 against Chris with an Empoleon. I think Roserade. I'm not 100% sure if it was Roserade. He usually runs a Dark Rat Hydreigon list. I actually ran into him a couple of other battle roads. But he decided to switch it up today. Either way, all he really draws is catchers to stall and more Piplups for my Thundurus to KO over and over. Kinda sucks for him, but at least it was more of a relief after last game. And here goes round 3. I'm against Yuki with Raikou/Eelektrik. Yuki also goes here for League, but somehow I've never actually battled him. I don't know why. I just never talked to him and decided to battle him. So this is going to be a fun one, even though whoever loses is out of cut, but whatever. I don't think either of us really care. We both get okay starts. He only gets a few Electrics out for a while, and a couple Raikous. While I start using Thunders to KO some of his Dynamos. He takes out most of my Eels in the mid-game with his Raikous. We both try to stall by catching each other's Eels. Of course, my Force Switch prevail and gets me out of there, but he gets stuck there for a while. But with, I think, 2-2 prizes left, he catches up my benched Registeel, which, with no switch left, now I have to start attaching. But wait! There's only 1 energy left in my deck, and 1 Eel in the field. Crap. But I do have Super Rod and a Sky Bridge in play. And I need to power up my Rayquaza EX on the bench with no energy on it, and Dragon Burst his Raikou if I even have a shot at this game. So I get the only Fire Energy in my discard and 2 Lightning Energies with my Super Rod. I think all the other Fires were attached to different Pokemon. I have to draw this next few cards perfectly and not discard the catches in my hand to get the 2 Lightning Energies and then the Fire. I can use Juniper, but if I discard my only catcher, then I'm kind of screwed. So I play down my hand and use Bianca, get the Lightning, and attach, and Dynamotor my Crozza, and pass. But then, here comes Yuki's Raikou, ready to Volt, but he instead Thunder Fangs my Registeel that probably won't even able to retreat for the next few turns. I'm a bit confused. Forget why, but something prevents him from using Volt the next turn. And attach for the turn and pass, but there's only 1 card left in my deck. I can't remember if it's an N or not. And I know I discarded my other Super Rod, so all I can do is hope and pray. I draw my last card, and it's an N! Yes! But if I attach my energy for the turn, I deck out this next turn. So I have to draw a Lightning off this N and not the Fire Energy if I have a chance at this game. Shuffle up, and I get the Lightning. And my Rayquaza's got 3 Lightning Energies on it. Does Yuki have a rebuttal? An N could deck me out this turn. He does nothing, and I win the next turn. If he had knocked out my last Eelektrik with that Raikou to Volt, I definitely would have lost. I had nothing to attach to that Rayquaza, so kind of sucky misplay on his part. Sadly, he actually got last with 1 and 3 that day. Poor guy. Kind of feel bad, but anyway. Final round is against someone I can't remember with Kyogre, Kyurem, and Registeel with the EXP Share Acceleration Engine. Kind of odd. But it could be a tough one, since all of those wreck Electrics, since of course they all are spread Pokemon. But Kyogre does have that lightning weakness, and that could be the thing that sways this in my favor. I go first and start Thundurus to his Registeel, I believe. Might have been something else. I of course start charging. He gets some KOs on a few Dynamos and softens up my Thundurus before I can KO it. Then comes Kyogre, uh-oh. He can't dual splash that turn, so he just smash turns into another Kyogre, I think. So my field at this point is 2 Thundurus, 1 with 60 damage on it, Rayquaza EX, and an Eel with 60 damage. So I placed down 2 more Dynamos because Kyogre will already be preoccupied with Thundurus and Eelektrik it can KO. So placing down the 2 Dynamos won't be much of a problem. And I can also get them both into Eelektrik next turn. So I should be fine. Sadly, Thundurus is 10 damage short of one-shotting Kyogre. So I have to Disaster Bolt this one for 160. On his turn, he's focused too much on the Thundurus and the Eelektrik and doesn't actually hit the Dynamo. So he just takes KOs on those 2. And then on my turn, prizes are 4 to his lead. And I have all the 2 Dynamos into Electrics. I can get 3 Lightnings and a Fire on the Rayquaza to KO the Kyogre, but it does have an Eviolite on it, and I wasn't running Tool Scrapper. And I don't have a Catcher to KO the Kyogre with 160. So I Dragon Burst for 160 and then set up a Registeel on the bench so I can triple laser both the Kyogres for 4 prizes next turn. He can't KO enough to take the last 3 prizes, and he scoops. That was quite a stressful game. I was making a pretty good comeback there. But at least I'll come out with a few packs. 5th. Great. There was 1 4-0, 4 3-1s, 4 2-2s, and 1 1-3. And both Eli and Yuki made my resistance so bad it was something like 35% opponent's wins or something. Just terrible. So there in that first game that we will never speak of again. It was pretty fun. My friend Ishan, of course you know him, got first in the tournament, and he pulled, what do you know, a full art Ho-Oh and a regular Registeel in his packs. He has such the dumbest luck with pulling those things. You know how many secret rare Rayquazas he pulled? 5! You heard me right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5! No one should pull that many secret rare Rayquazas. And I'm just going to tell you about one more match I played in those 3 weekends, just because that was one of the most ridiculous games I've ever played. It was at New Holland, Pennsylvania, and it was the round 4. I was 2-1, and I was against Trevor with Eelektrik/Mewtwo. This game was just so ridiculous that I had to report it. He starts Bouffalant and 3 Dynamos, kind of ridiculous. He has to Juniper 2 catchers on his opening hand, and he used one on the same hand just to, use it. He gets 2 Mewtwo's loaded up with 3 Electrics in play, and I was not running Mewtwo that day. Every time I get some damage on his field, he just max potions it away. Fantastic. He has Rex through my field. Any attacker I set up gets destroyed by Mewtwo. He gets the prizes to 6-1, and he has a Mewtwo with 4 energy on it. He catches Electric. I'm just about ready to throw my hand on the table and shake his hand, but he whips an energy! I still have a slim shot at this game. So what's my next move? I catcher an eel and triple laser all of his eels. He max potions 1, but then he asks if he can take it back, and I let him. Seems kind of odd. Probably planning to save it for a Mewtwo, I guess. He doesn't seem to have any switches, and he doesn't have any energy dynamotor, so he can't just load up his Mewtwo to take out my Registeel while he's waiting to get triple KO'd. Once they're all knocked out, he sends up his Bouffalant from the beginning again and Gold Breakers my Registeel. Since he's used up all his catchers, I can safely retreat it and keep sending up new attackers each time he Gold Breakers 1. And then he can't kill any of them and didn't run Raikou. And I finally set up my Rayquaza and captured Mewtwo to finish off with Dragon Blast. No one could believe that I came back from 6-1 prizes. Go Registeel, yeah! Winning that put me at 3-1 and I got 3rd. Pulled a Sigilyph in my Lodic. Yeah. So I guess one thing I'm gonna do, just to give you a brief gist of how I did, I'm gonna give you a little chart of all the results I had at Battle Roads. Here's the one I just talked about in New Holland. There's 14 players, 4 rounds. Round 1 against the Cinccino Zoroark deck, won that. Round 2, Darkrai Hydreigon, lost that. The same guy got 2nd. Round 3, a water-based deck. I won that one, of course. Something funny, that guy actually just kept bugging me to get him to just say, like, oh, if you win, can I have this win? I really need those cards. Yeah, you probably guessed what my reaction to that was. Nope. And of course, the final match was Electric Mewtwo, and I won that. And that's the one I faced against Trevor. Wilmington, already reported that. Holmes, Philadelphia, there were 4 players and seniors, and for some reason we didn't get mixed in with any other division. I really don't know why. Round 1 was Eli with his Rayquaza Emboar. I won that, finally. Round 2 was against Garchomp Altaria, lost that. Round 3 was against Carpador, Registeel, Groudon, Terrakion, and that was lost. I placed 3rd, so yeah, that was still pretty bad, even though I got 3rd. Newcastle, Delaware, there were 8 players, and for some reason there were only 3 rounds. Round 1, a Darkrai Sableye deck, won that. actually accidentally got a warning because I had played a random receiver and got an N and discarded the N, and it didn't count as me using the N, so he called the judge, and I didn't actually have to use the N, but it was still kind of annoying. Round 2, a Dark Hydreigon deck, won that one, and round 3, Dark Hydreigon, I won that one too, so got my revenge from Nationals. And I placed first in that one, so that was really exciting, finally getting first in the event. I should say in the third round, I again got a penalty. I was using that Hargolso Silver playmat, and I had 2 prizes left. I just, moved my arm over the playmat and flipped over my prizes. It was pretty funny. We were just both judge. It was really stupid. In Bluebell, Pennsylvania, there were 9 players. It might have been 8. Don't exactly remember. Round 1, a Dark Hydreigon deck. I lost. Same guy got it first, though, which was nice. Round 2, bye. Lame. Round 3 was against Dark Hydreigon. Won that one. And round 4 was a water fighting deck. Won that one. How someone got the 2-1 with that, I don't know. But either way, I placed second. And I pulled up Full Art Trakian. Oh, yeah. And the final one I played was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There were 7 players. Round 1, I was against a Rayquaza and Eelektrik deck. That was Eshawn, actually. And I lost. Second round, bye. Round 3, another Rayquaza and Eelektrik deck. And I lost, and I got 5th. I did actually have the best resistance of the 1 and 2s, with 75 or something. Yay! In those last 2 games, pretty much the same exact thing happened. I started Dynamo, I drew dead, I drew my Rayquaza, it got catcher and KO'd by their Rayquaza. I was too far behind to come back, do anything. I'm pretty sure now everyone's figured out that Rayquaza and Eelektrik is the best deck, and that Garchomp wasn't big enough to be a threat. And the only reason I've been doing good this whole time is because I was the first one to catch on how good it was. I have some serious testing to do against this deck before I go to regionals, and you should all do the same. This deck is deadly. It is powerful. So in the end of the day, I got 37 championship points, which was not bad. That's almost an eighth of what I need to get an invite. If I, really am able to get an invite, that's ridiculous. I still have to place in a bunch of regionals and states and whatever. But I still do have 3 tournaments left I can do in the Spring Battle Roads, so I definitely still have a pretty good shot at getting this invite. If I, considering this record, I think it's in my range. But, I'm not very good, so not very likely. But I can dream. And it looks like that's going to just about do it for this week's episode. You guys should look out for the Dragon Vault boxes that are coming out. Not boxes, I guess they're more blisters that are coming out this October. Actually, I thought they were coming out after regionals, but no, they're actually coming out on the 5th of October. So you can get those before regionals, and you can use your secret Rayquazas in those. So that's going to be really great. But apparently, it's been announced that they will not be legal. The cards in there will not be legal for regionals, which I find really odd. But since Rayquaza is already a card, you can still use that. You just can't use the fast tickets and Salamence or whatever. But Super Rod and EXP Share and Rayquaza are all still legal. And apparently there's a surprise secret rare Kyurem in this set, which makes no sense. Why did they keep doing this? Stop releasing secret rares before the real thing. I don't even know if it's going to ever be a real thing. But people are probably going to stockpile in the set anyway. I know I'm probably going to get a few just to get some fast tickets. So, you'll probably already get some. It won't be as difficult to get this one as it was to get the Rayquaza, since there's, 4 secret rares in that set, and now there's just 1. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and next week, I promise this time, I'll be talking about the results from Battle Roads, and see what decks I think are going to be top choices for regionals, and what I have personally experienced with all these decks. See ya! It's not an old catchphrase. It's weird.